Hi, my name is Ashlyn Kearney, and today I will be presenting on the case study Gap Inc. Today I will be going over the case summary, the position statement, the analysis of the situation and criteria, the short and long-term recommended options, and the action plan. Gap Inc. is an American clothing and accessories retailer that operates 5 main divisions worldwide. These are Gap, Banana Republic, Old Navy, Athleta, and Intermix. Since its beginnings in 1969, Gap was based on the principles of equality when its founders, Don and Doris Fisher, invested an equal amount of money in order to open up the first store. They then expanded the company, making equal pay and women leadership part of the company's culture, and Gap became one of the largest U.S. and international clothing retailers. To illustrate how companies can overcome these challenges, this case explores how Gap successfully achieved gender equality. Gap's case is important to analyze as it provides a framework on the type of practices and policies companies can implement to achieve equitable gender pay and a higher representation of female leadership. After all, research has shown that companies like Gap, who have high female representation on top management teams, experience better financial performance. Through evidence supported by the criteria, Gap continues to break social norms and has gained success and recognition in gender equality and women in leadership. It has done this by building an equitable workplace as part of the DNA, having a high representation of female employers and leaders who serve as role models, and provides a robust female pipeline source, providing mentorship and sponsorship programs, and offering flexible and family-oriented policies and practices. While Gap has successfully addressed pay equity, there are areas where it can continue to improve and lead in this area, along with making strides to improve its diversity and inclusion efforts to ensure. When continued societal pressures for equality, inclusion, and diversity, Gap will need to ensure it addresses all areas with the same concerted effort that it has done in gender equality or risk-long viability. To determine how Gap can continue to improve its pay equity processes and further strive to improve diversity and inclusion efforts, it's important to understand the method it uses to minimize some of these social and cultural challenges that create gender wage gaps. Equally important is to explore why it is vital for any organization to embrace equality, diversity, and inclusion in its culture and strategies. Gap implemented the following key measures that tackle gender diversity issues in the workplace head-on. They wanted to build an inclusive workplace as part of the DNA. They wanted a female leadership team that serves as role models. They wanted to source a strong female pipeline. They wanted to provide mentorship and sponsorship programs. And they wanted to offer flexible and family-friendly policies and practices. While Gap has been successful in addressing pay equity, there are areas where Gap can continue to improve and lead in this area and further strive to improve its diversity and inclusion efforts. Equal pay, gender equality, diversity, and inclusion efforts will never be perfectly achieved. They are not final destinations that can be won, but require ongoing review of policies, processes, and top-down commitment. My short-term recommended options were Option 1. Gap should make pay ranges available for their employees. Option 2. Gap should implement a transparent compensation program. And Option 3. Gap should establish a diverse group of interviewers. Here is my action plan based on the overall evaluation and recommended options. 1. They should offer training for managers on maternity and paternity leave. Offering this type of training is the most effective way to combat unbias for parents who take maternity or paternity leave. Training offered to Gap managers on unconscious bias related to both maternity and paternity leave. They will also learn how to support these employees when returning to work from their leave of absence. Providing paid paternity leave will also distribute childcare more evenly between parents, tackle gender stereotyping, and increase a mother's and father's productivity. And 2. Gap needs to continue to improve and fight for equal pay, equality, and inclusion. Gap has set the tone for other companies by being the first Fortune 500 company to create equal pay for both males and females globally. Other companies followed in their footsteps after seeing the results they were getting with such a diverse workforce and a high female represented company. However, Gap is lagging in ethnic diversity and needs to take further action to change the culture. For Gap to continue to thrive, it will need to continue to find ways to cultivate not only gender diversity in the workplace, but cultural diversity and inclusion. This is especially important as society has been driving businesses to improve diversity and inclusion in the workforce. If anything, this past year has taught us that unless companies start including or improving their diversity, culture, and inclusion efforts, they will eventually be left behind with the mask we wear. Thank you so much for listening today. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me at akearney@highpoint.edu.